Once you know this proven blueprint to crafting your own morning ritual, you will never need to watch a video on 5 a.m. productivity mornings ever again. Girl, those videos are going to leave your algorithm. You know the ones, the 5 a.m. matcha and Pilates that simultaneously inspire you and make you feel like you're never going to be good enough. Those videos, they're going to leave your algorithm forever. This is the last time you are ever going to need to create a morning ritual from scratch. And when you know this, you can create something that nobody else can come close to. Other people's routines are not activating your energy, they are draining it. And so when you create your own rituals, you are no longer chasing somebody else's idea of perfection. So today we are building your morning rituals for manifestation, for energy work, for setting the frequency of your day. At the end of this video, you will be able to create a morning ritual that actually fits your life. It energetically supports your goals and it works even when you've got children and clients and businesses and a diary that is bursting at the seams with all the incredible abundance that you've created for yourself. So let's get into it, because I want you to tell me if you're with me on this one. I go sometimes onto maybe Pinterest or Instagram and I will see all these very aesthetic, very color-coded, very rigid, beautiful looking routines that I know if I tried to follow, I would abandon. I'd be lucky if I got to day 3. And there's a reason for this. There's a reason we can't just pick up these routines. And you will know if you've tried doing this that you can't do it for very long. And there are 3 reasons. The first one being that the energy is not yours. It's not frequentially matched to your outcome. So you're going to have a hard time making yourself do the things in the way that you're being told to do. It's going to be like dragging your tangible body, your physical self, just dragging yourself through the motions rather than living in flow and harmony with your energy. Number 2 is that there isn't an understanding or a connection to the deeper energetic connection to the process and the outcome, which again is why you have a hard time sticking to things, because you're not energetically connected to the outcome. It's like not having a solid enough why to overcome the days where you don't feel motivated, where it does feel hard. And number 3 is perfectionism. It's the all or nothing. It's the, if I can't do this exactly, I'm going to abandon it. I have a trick up my sleeve for this one that will kick this habit well and truly to the curb, because I was the queen of all or nothing. I was the queen of perfectionism. And when I changed my perspective on creating a ritual, it changed the game for me. It made sticking to rituals easy. It made keeping up with the promises that I'd made to myself easy. It literally put rituals on easy mode for me. And so that's something that we're going to get to in the next section of the video. So you are going to leave this video knowing how to build and craft your own morning rituals that deliver energy and clarity and start off your day with energetic momentum. This ritual is going to kick off your intuition and it's going to hold your creative channel open. And it's going to be something that you will maintain. It's going to be something that will evolve with you. It will grow and evolve as your goals grow and as you evolve and as you expand on your spiritual self-coaching journey. Because your morning ritual is the foundation for your entire day. But the problem that we have is it's never actually been yours. And you might never have been below the surface to discover what your personalized ritual actually needs to include, because the chances are it's going to be very, very different to what you're seeing online and the rituals that you're trying to stamp onto your own life because they look really good on Instagram. Before we get into it though, something paradoxical. So your morning rituals are both one of the first and one of the last things that you actually create when you are creating a whole new life for yourself, a whole new vibe for yourself. We're entering this new cycle of spring as we speak, and we might have a whole fresh set of new goals. The morning ritual needs to be the first thing we create, and it needs to be the last thing that we actually lock in as well. And the reason for it is really simple, and it's something that I don't hear people emphasizing anywhere near enough. Your reasons behind each part of this ritual matter. Your why matters. The energetic frequency of what you're doing and connecting that to the outcome matters. There needs to be an outcome to the pieces that you're including. There needs to be an intention. Your why holds the energy. It locks it to the quantum version of your infinite self. That future self that you're visualizing, the intention locks those rituals to that outcome. And when we're first starting to do this, there are a lot of moving parts, there are a lot of pieces. We're doing a lot of the work, we're going in, we're doing the heart connection, we're really connecting with what those desires are. My dog's having a little dream over there, how cute. So when we first start this, there are a lot of moving parts. There are, partially formed desires. There are goals that we want, but we're not sure kind of how. There are the sparks of these new desires which need to incubate and which need to infuse and meld with your energy. And so we're going to be creating these rituals. We're going to be creating these rituals, and we might not have these things like our why fully locked in. We might not have this infinite version fully locked in. You might not have truly connected with the heart pillar of the framework because you're still in that process. However, we still need rituals. We still need to create this framework for ourselves. You still need a structure to create the action. And so I'm going to show you exactly how to handle this. And it's also why we never, ever, ever believe anybody who says, just do X, Y, Z for 6 weeks and your life will change. You know that's bullshit because you've been there before. Nobody is you. You are the only one that can create this for yourself. And so that is what we are doing. We are going into the very core of what it means to create the ultimate energy optimizing morning routine, morning ritual for yourself. There are so many layers, and that's why it's so juicy. That's why it's so much more fun when you do it like this. Because I would say 95% of the stuff that we see online is so surface level. It is so scratching the surface. It's so shallow. And so much of it is pulled straight out of an AI's chatbot. And that is not the vibe. That's not the vibe around here. It's one-dimensional. It's completely lacking the expandedness that you have grown past. Each process requires integration. It requires embodiment. And that is something that is hugely, hugely lacking across the vast majority of social media and in the online space in general. Now, I'm going to tell you something that, I don't know, makes me feel a little bit silly, but I'm going to tell you anyway. So, I don't know, like super naive of me. I'm not, I'm not scared to say I was really naive when this happened. You know when TikTok was going to get a ban and then all these influencers who had these perfect days and these perfect lives all started coming out and saying, like, lol, it was a joke, I was making it up, and they were showing people the behind the scenes of exactly how they faked these lives. Girl, I was so shocked. And this sounds crazy as somebody who goes, oh, don't believe everything that you see in the online space. I think logically we know not to believe everything we see in the online space, but we're human beings, we see this and, we see it. It looks real. It looks like evidence. And so when they all came out and said, no, the whole lot is fake, not all of them, but when some of them came out and said, no, the whole lot is faked, girl, I was shocked. I mean, I might be some little naive little bunny over here. Yeah, I was real shocked. Maybe it's because I didn't go anywhere near social media till I was over the age of 20. Perhaps that is why I was shocked. And, I would never do that. I just found it absolutely shocking that these people had crafted these entire fake lives. And so when we do see stuff that somebody gets up at 4 o'clock and has this 3-hour morning routine whereby they cover every single base of everything and it makes you feel like you're not doing enough because you need to get up and run your business, you want to get up and see your children. These may or may not be true, okay? And we don't know the ins and outs, we don't know the backgrounds of these people. And so if we start judging ourselves based on those people's routines, which may or may not be true, we're just setting ourselves up for failure. We're just setting ourselves up to feel like shit. We're setting ourselves up for a good old case of comparison, which is never a good look. It's never a good thing for ourselves. It's never a good thing for our energy. So yeah, there's so much BS online. And if we could only see the truth, if we could only see what was real and what was genuinely authentic, the standards we would hold ourselves to would be so much lower. We would not beat ourselves up anywhere near as much. And that goes for everything. That goes right across the board with social media. But we're just going to keep to the topic of routines and rituals. If we knew how much of it was the genuine truth that somebody genuinely did every single day, and, you know, the times that they did it and the commitments that they made and what they actually stuck to and what their goals were, if we knew the genuine truth, the standards would seem so much more reasonable. We would stop setting ourselves up with these unrealistic standards. We would stop setting up with these unrealistic targets where we feel like we're falling behind because we see other people doing so much. Because the truth of it is, when we look at ourselves and say, oh, well, great, but I can't do that. Well, she can't either because she's faked it. And I'm not saying that they all are. Obviously, some of them will be genuine, but the amount of manipulation out there really shocked me. The amount of people who actually, and that's only the ones that were comfortable to say that they were actually lying about it, shocked me. So yeah, we really need to just take everything that we see with a massive pinch of salt. And so it is about prioritization, and it's about giving yourself the things that you know are effective and that you know you have an outcome for and that you will stick to. And so it's why you really need to have that deep connection to your own why and only include the pieces that are connected to that why. So the Heart Connection videos are a set of videos that I'm currently in the planning stages for. Because what I'm doing is I am in the process of taking over 10 years of spiritual and energy work, coaching with my clients, coaching myself, spiritual self-coaching, development, and distilling all this work into YouTube videos. Because I believe that every woman who wants to do this should be able to do this, and it's part of my greater mission. So if you've not subscribed to the YouTube channel, subscribe to the YouTube channel, share these videos with your friends because it really does make a massive difference to the reach of the videos and the amount of women that I can help with this. Because being your own energy healer, knowing how to coach yourself and change the imprints that you're holding in your body, in your energy, changing the imprints that are stopping you creating the life and business that you really, really freaking want, that is the rebellion. Changing those imprints on all 4 layers required is the rebellion. So now you know why we're here and that this is just a slice of what we are doing. You better hit subscribe so you can come back. Moving on, section 1, fluidity. Now we're going to start with something that might just feel like a relief. I hope it feels like a relief. Your ritual must be fluid. There is no point in setting yourself a rigid routine that you have to do to the letter every single day. It will change as life changes. It almost cannot look the same every single day. A mum, when you are running a business, when you have a full and abundant life, your mornings might already be like a bit of a lucky dip as to what's going to happen. So instead of forcing yourself into a perfect list, we are simply going to switch to what I call covering your bases. That is all we need to do. All we need to do is cover our bases. Ritual is about energetic priming. It's where you set the frequency that you want to hold for the rest of the day. So the intention and conscious selection of these bases really do matter way more than the length of your rituals, what specifically you are actually including. It's about the intention. It's about the energy behind it. And we do this for a variety of reasons. Number 1 being that we have varying amounts of time in the morning. You know the classic, I'm going to get up before my children and I'm going to do all the things that I want to do and then they go and get up with you, which is lovely that we get to enjoy the morning with them and we didn't get to do all the things that we promised ourselves that we were going to do. And 2, we have varying amounts of energy. Now, we do anyway based on our what's been going on in our lives, how much sleep we've had, our nutrition in the week or 2 before, how much we've been moving our body. And not only that, the fact that we also have these hormonal cycles running every single month, meaning that not one day in the month actually looks or feels the same. Added on to the fact that as mums, as business owners, we have varying commitments. So not every day is going to look the same at all. Some mornings it might be, including your movement part of this as a 5-minute stretch while you're trying to persuade your toddler to put her shoes on. Some mornings you might stay for a spin class and Pilates at the gym. It is all about fluidity. So trying to create rigid consistency in a life that is full, that is abundant, that is flowing with all the facets of who you get to be in this wonderful, expansive life is only going to lead to one place, and that is failure. Now, in general, we don't mind failure. Failure is evidence that we are trying and that we are doing new things. However, when it comes to our rituals, we are aiming to keep the promises that we make to ourselves. We are embodying and taking on the identity of the woman who keeps the promises she makes to herself. And that does not include failure. In my work with clients, we dive deep into identity. And this is a part of that. In the identities that you are instilling in yourself as you access the expansiveness of your potential, you have to learn really early on to keep the promises that you're making to yourself. And this also incorporates knowing yourself really, really well on an energetic level, because you have to know what commitments you can make so that you can maintain that identity. Make that too rigid and it's just not possible. So that was the first section, fluidity. Moving on now into section 2, which is categories. So to make this really simple, we just work in categories and you get to choose these. This is your ritual. This is your blue. And these categories might include things like movement, stillness, reflection, learning, alchemy. Now I'm very broad with the names of these pillars because they can just include whatever it is that you want. Now, thinking of them as energetic pillars, you get to choose what fits inside them. Rather than trying to follow a step-by-step routine, somebody else's rituals, the more familiar you get with spiritual self-coaching and the heart model that I teach, the layers that we use for transformation, the alchemy trifecta, the more you understand each item. And the more you understand how each thing can cover different bases. But that is as you work with it, that is further down the line. What we're doing here is creating these initial pieces. Now, the initial pieces for your pillars are things that cannot be done simultaneously. We'll get to that in a minute because these are the pillars of your rituals. So movement, think a workout, think lifting weights, think a Pilates session, think cardio, think spin class, a stretch on your lounge floor, dancing to one song while you make breakfast. Maybe connection could be a meditation, a visualization. Could be embodiment practice. It could be sensual dance. It could be touch. It could be singing. The pillar of energy work could be a classic hands-on healing on yourself. It could be a short practice, or it could be a series of short practices. Expression could be journaling. That could be like traditional writing. It could be voice noting yourself. It could be art of any sort. It could be a creative project. The alchemy pillar could be a full spiritual self-coaching session. It could be tap work. It could be tapping. It could be breath work. It could be sound healing. The learning pillar could be reading. It could be listening to something. It could be refining your craft or learning a new skill. Maybe you've got a body love pillar, and that could be facial, a massage, skincare, whatever you're doing to get your physical body ready for the day. Now, these pillars, they are just examples. You add your own, choose your own, just make this so your own. You're going to choose 3 to 5 of them. So we're not going to overwhelm ourselves. We're going to choose 3 to 5 of these pillars. And it's whatever ties your rituals to your vision. The key in this section is that these pieces need to have meaning. They have a connection to your outcome. There is a solid why that you can link that back to. And choose things that could be done fairly concisely. Knowing how much time you have realistically and how much time each piece takes and how much each piece needs to be effective is really important. And then you're going to start looking at your non-negotiables. For some people, morning workouts are essential. For others, they can be done in an evening. For some people, they have to meditate in the morning. For other people, they can do it at lunchtime. And so to look at this, you need to say, what is not going to get done later if I don't do it now? Or what is going to negatively impact my day if I don't do it now? And start to set them out in order of priority. And then the key here is to just start. Start in the morning. Start after your next sleep. Start from where you are with what you have right now. And you will tweak as you learn your preferences. So you have your pillars down. The next thing we're going to do is add in the layers. This is where you get to feel like your mornings are on fire. The layers. Now, once those foundations feel good, maybe give yourself a week in them, get settled into whatever it is that you're choosing for each of these pillars. You are going to start adding in your layers. Now, these are the smaller pieces that you're able to multitask with. These are going to be things like morning sunlight, adding binaural beats or other frequencies to in red light to your workout. Bringing in a cacao or a herbal tea while you're in the expression pillar. listening to a chapter of your audiobook while you are getting ready. Things like oil pulling, which takes a long time, as long as you're not having to speak while you're doing it. These layers are not meant to overwhelm you. These layers are amplifiers to what you are already doing, and it's bringing more to each thing. It's making more use of your time. It's making more use of your energy. And it's about ritualizing your life. It's about building in this intentionality. Now, if you want to go deeper and really embody being your own energy healer throughout the day, not just in the sessions that you're doing or the meditations, really embodying being your own energy healer, I have a free book with 44 small energy rituals in it that you can incorporate throughout the day. They take 1 to 2 minutes each, and you can just incorporate these rituals into your day, weave them in, or you could even use them. I do include as well an energy healing session blueprint, so you could actually create your own energy healing session to do as well. So if you want to get that, it will be in the description box. So now we need to talk about what to do when you do not know your why, because this is something we touched on before. If you're at the beginning of this process, and I know that you're not at the beginning of your spiritual journey, I know you're not at the beginning of this manifestation process, but if you are at the beginning of this process, coming from having been reading all the books, having been doing all the podcasts, coming up with all this awareness, and then saying, okay, great, I now know what my problems are, but I don't know how to solve them. This is where we need to look. And so if we are at the beginning of this process, this is what we're going to do instead. Because yes, you do need to do the deeper work, but it's a life's work. It's a process. It's not something we need to have boshed off in 2 weeks. You can't do it in 2 weeks. So what you're going to do for now is think about what you would like to do each morning and keep it super general for now. And then you're going to write down what that activity gives you in terms of outcome and how that relates to how you think you would like to be living a year from now. So say it's a workout in the morning. What does that give you? It gives you energy for the day. It gives you optimal health. It gives you energy to play with your children. It gives you the confidence. It means you're going to look hot AF in your clothes. It means you're going to walk around with more confidence. It means you're going to feel proud of yourself. Pick the most emotive and don't try to be right about it. If it's that you want a really nice bum, it's because you want a really nice bum, and that's fine. Do you know, I once had a health coach, and so she used to say things like, oh, we'll do this to get really strong and healthy bodies, and we want strong legs. But she kept slipping, and she kept saying sexy legs, and then correcting herself and being like, no, we want strong and healthy bodies. And I'm like, girl, if you want sexy legs, you want sexy legs, that's it. There is nothing wrong with working out to look hot AF. Just own it. Let that be your why. If that's your driver, that's your driver, and that is okay. This is about you and you, not you and anybody else. Nobody else needs to know. But when you do this, when you are honest with yourself, when you tell yourself the goddamn truth, you are 10 times more likely to stick to it. In owning it, you feel that energy inside, the pull. That's what keeps you going. Don't gaslight yourself. Don't try and be right. Just let yourself feel whatever it is you want to feel. Use that energy. If you want sexy legs, use sexy legs. We don't want to pretend that we're fired up for doing this leg day ritual because we want to have great blood pressure in 20 years' time. Obviously, we do want to have great blood pressure in 20 years' time, but is that giving us the energetic fire today? No, having a nice ass is. And that is what we are looking for in each of these pieces. What is giving you the fire? What is giving you the juice behind each of those? What is driving that action now? We always go back to the quote, one of my favourite quotes by Gillian Michaels, which is transformation is a present activity, not a future event. So for every item, what is it? What's the yes, bitch, I've got to do it now? What's the give it to me? What's the juice? Where is that? And you connect to that energy. It's when you're truly expressing yourself in your creative pursuits. Maybe you're creating art. It actually massively benefits your relationship, and you want to lean into that sensuality and that expression in that way. Whatever it is for you. It might be that when you dance, you feel like the baddest bitch that ever lived, and you can show up for your clients in a way that you just don't on days that you don't dance. Own it. Take that juice, take that fire. Makes you more magnetic and attract the baddest clients. Whatever it is, whatever that energy is, connect with it and write it down. Really journal around it so that when you're trying to nope out of your commitment, you can just quickly go back to that and tap back to that energy and go, yes, this is why I'm doing that. And also knowing that you can always do your 1 minute magic. There is always the 1 minute magic available to you. You can always pare that right down to a 1 minute ritual, a 5 minute ritual. So you do this and you move into creating this as a ritual for yourself. And down the line, as the weeks go past and you've done some more of this heart connection work, you're getting deeper in tune with your truth, your desires, what it is that you really want in the long term. You can really start to map out what those desires are, what those goals are, and link them to each piece of your ritual. So I want to create this 1 year from now. What action steps do I need to take today to get me there? And then you just start fitting them back into the time that you have and the pillars that you've created for yourself. This is where your ritual becomes the place that your intentions meet your actions. And you can craft them, you could tweak them, you can reorganize them. You're going to tailor them specifically to your goals. You understand that your movement goals actually require lifting weights X times a week and doing cardio X times a week. Or that you've been using your connection pillar as a way to bring more creativity into your life, and that actually you want to move into doing more visualizations than just meditations. Whatever it is, refine it, tweak it, move it around. This is yours and it's fluid. So remember those Pinterest and Instagram rituals that we talked about right back at the very beginning of this video. Now you can see why your ritual will never ever look like that. And that's because it will look like your real life. It will look like your energy. It will look like your goals, your heart connection, your juice, your fire, whatever it is that's driving you and your Rebel Empress outcome. As you get deeper into doing the heart connection and understanding what you are truly creating in the world, these rituals will evolve with you. And nobody's going to have this same routine as you. Nobody's going to have these rituals like you do. And it will also mean that you keep it going. It will also mean that it becomes such an intrinsic part of you. You couldn't fathom stopping. So we have looked at how to work with category, how to add layers, how to personalize everything just to you, how to tailor everything uniquely to yourself, how to build clarity while your why and your vision is still unfolding. Your morning ritual is a living part of your energy work and your manifestation practices. Allow it to evolve with you. And also, before we wrap up, a reminder that this is about embodiment. This is not a tick list exercise. The goal is to experience the feeling and the energy that it creates, to set that frequency for the rest of your day. How you move throughout your day, how you speak, how you sell, how you create, how you work with your clients, how you show up with your clients, how you show up with your family. This is about creating your business goals, your family goals, and your fullest expression of self goals. Now I'm going deeper into habit formation, rituals, and the resistance that comes up when we start to do this in this video here. So if you want to get into that juice, head there next.